Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name's Amy. Today we're gonna start off with all my favorites for 2020. All my favorite reads for 2020. I'm gonna break it down into some categories. So I'm gonna start off with my shortest category, which is going to be male romance series that I completed in the year of 2020. Although one series is not entirely complete, but there's not another book out just yet. So for now, I'm gonna call it complete because it's just one of my favorites and I have to talk about it. And you may know what I'm talking about, but we'll get to it in just a minute. All right, so I have four series, not eight, four series male romance that I read in 2020. So coming in at number 4 is the My Knees Duet by Ella James. The first book in that series was Worship. And the second book is Adore. There is like a 0.5 little prequel to the series, but you really don't need to read it because it's actually the very beginning of Worship. So you don't need it. But if you want to like just see what the series is going to be about, go check out the little novella and see if you like it. But I absolutely loved it. It's considered like a erotic male romance. It's also a forbidden male romance, which that's really what drug me in. I love a good forbidden story. I don't care if it's male, female. I love a good forbidden story. So we follow Vance and Luke in this story. Vance is an artist. Luke, I'm not gonna tell you what Luke is because I don't want to spoil the fun of the story. Let's just say that Luke is very popular and he makes a lot of money doing what he does. A lot of people love him, a lot of people follow him, a lot of people hang on every word he has to say. So in the beginning of Worship, we follow Vance, who is going on his honeymoon, but he's alone on his honeymoon because his engagement has previously broke off. Vance is bi, so he was engaged to a woman. I don't really remember why they called it off, but anyway, he went on the honeymoon alone. The cruise ship goes to like this little remote island or something, and he gets wasted with this other girl, and he's just left there on the island. Long story short, here comes a yacht that a beautiful man is on, and Vance makes his way up to the yacht because, you know, he needs help. Help, get me off this island. I need to get back to the cruise ship, get my stuff, get back to land, all that good stuff. This is where he meets Luke. Luke is the owner of the yacht, and he's taken a little time for himself, a little break from the outside world just to be himself and enjoy the sea. They have a very on-again, off-again type of relationship just because of the fact that Luke has to hide who he really is. And he can be his own self when he's with Vance, but he cannot be seen. He cannot make it any kind of known that he is gay because it could ruin everything he has built, everything his parents have built. It is a very sad story, but a beautiful one at that. I loved these two guys, and I love the emotions they had for each other, and how they, you know, how they dealt with the situation, especially Vance having to kind of put up with the ways of Luke's lifestyle. Luke could only be with him at certain times, and sometimes they'd go months without seeing each other. It was very intense. Their relationship was very intense, but I loved it. I loved them two together, and I loved their story. Coming in at number 3 in the series, male romance series, is the Hello Goodbye series by Serena Bowen. Oh, such a good series, y'all. I really loved this series. It was a very deep and heartwarming kind of series, but the 2 books we get in this series are very different from each other. We're following 2 different characters in each book. So the first book is called Goodbye Paradise. We follow Joshua and Caleb, and they live in like this secluded sort of like community kind of thing. It reminded me of I don't want to say the village, but you know how like they were in the village, they were keeping people from the real outside world. And this is kind of how it reminded me. They had like their own little system of government and things like that, and men did this, women did that. It was very degrading, and the men were very like, I am man, hear me roar kind of thing. Joshua has always kind of known who he was, but he of course has to hide that from the community. So being that he is who he is, he doesn't like have any interest in women. So when the men notice that he's not pursuing any of the girls in the community, they sort of shame him and call him like basically a weak link. And they do away with these weak links. Caleb has always been Josh's protector, but he is also a very strong person, and he knows what he has to do to get by. So therefore, he's not considered a weak link. So when Josh is pretty much thrown out of the community with nowhere to go, no money, he doesn't know anything about the outside world, Caleb follows right behind him, and they find refuge somewhere from someone else that has actually escaped this community before. This is where they find each other. They find themselves. They embrace who they are as separate people and as one. Beautiful story. I cried a lot in this story. And then we move on to Hello Forever, which is the second book in the series. Now we do have Josh and Caleb kind of in the background, but this is Cax and Axel's story. Cax and Axel met at a church camp, if I'm remembering correctly. And as the years went on and the older they got, the more they realized that they felt more for each other, and they were caught kissing at the camp. So since then they were separated, their families separated them. Axel went on to be himself. He embraced who he was, and he's been living that life. Cax, on the other hand, has not. He has a best friend that sort of pretends to be his girlfriend. She knows who he really is though. But his father is not a very good man, and will take him down. Will take his son down if he has to, if he doesn't do the right thing according to him. Well, Axel sort of spots Cax on TV one night when he's watching, I don't remember if it was a basketball game, I believe, maybe. He's watching the game because he's thinking about taking on a social media job to promote the team, I think. So anyway, of course he takes it because he sees Cax, get them mixed up, Cax in the crowd. So of course he takes it because he let Cax slip through his fingers years ago, and he's never forgot him. He's been like his one true love. So he's going to go and see if he can maybe try to pursue this relationship that they had when they were teenagers. A very loving little story, not as deep and emotional as the first book, but still a very good book. Definitely loved this little series. The number 2 spot goes to the Elite series by Ella Frank and Brooke Blaine. Loved, oh my gosh, loved this series. If I wouldn't love this other series as much as I do, this one would probably be my number 1, but it's coming in at number 2. There are 3 books to this series. Highly recommend it. The first book is Danger Zone. Second book is Need for Speed, and then we have Classified. This is a story of 2 guys that are on like a fighter pilot team. Fighter pilots, oh my god. Like the Navy kind of thing. So very hot men among us. It says they train to serve their country. They strive to be the best, but only a select few can be the elite. So we have a team of these men that are training to be the elite. And from there they go off to fly for like the Blue Angels or whatever. So we have Mateo Morgan, whose call sign is Solo. Mateo is a very arrogant guy. In the beginning of the book, I was like, who is this character? I don't know if I like him. But then you grow to really, really like him. The more you get to know him throughout the 3 books, you adore him. He's reckless. He does what he wants. He knows he's the best of the best. That's why he's here on this team of elite guys. He's gonna go out for what he wants. He's out, he's proud of who he is. And that comes through in the character right at the very, very beginning. And I do love that about him, but at first I was just like, who this guy? And then we have Grant Hughes. His call sign is Panther. Grant has my heart. He's such a good guy. It says perfect, disciplined, smart, and confident. His father is also in the U.S. Navy, and he's sort of following in his father's footsteps. But what his family doesn't know is that he's gay. He has a few select friends that know who he really is. Unfortunately, Mateo knows who he really is, because Mateo tries to pursue him at this bar when they don't know each other. And then the next day it's like, holy shit. And I loved like the banter between the two in the beginning when Mateo was not really trying to pursue Panther, or so to say Solo and Panther. He was just more trying to just like mess with him, because that's who Solo is. And he knows Panther is that guy that's gonna do what he's supposed to do and not step a toe out of line unless he thinks it's necessary. But of course, once the two get to know each other, they start falling for each other. And every book is left with a cliffhanger that you can't ignore. You have to move on to the 2nd and 3rd book, because you must know what happens. At least that was how I did it. Like, I read these books back to back. Sometimes I can like move on to another book before I continue with the series, because it really doesn't leave on a hit cliffhanger, but these books do. So just warning you before you go into it, but I promise it's well worth it. And coming in at number 1, the Four Bears Construction series by K.M. and Newhold. Love, love, love this series so much. So far, there's 4 books in the series. Each book is a different character. Of course, our other characters are always in the background because we get a story for each of them. But more books are to come, because over the course of these books, there have been other characters that are not in the Four Bears, that were not in the original Four Bears construction, that are, becoming part of the series. So I think we're going to start getting like their stories. So I can't wait for that, but for right now, there's only 4 books. The first one is Kolki. This one, I think this one is probably my favorite. Of course, it's the first one in the series, but I absolutely love these 2 guys. This is Ren and Cole's story. Cole is part of the Four Bears construction. Cole and his brother actually own the company, and then the 2 other guys, which we'll meet later on, they just work there, but they call them Four Bears Construction. So Ren was just in a long relationship. He just got out of it, and his friend took him out to this bar where the guys are always hang out. Cole was there on the night that Ren decided to go out. Ren got really, really drunk. So Cole was very much a gentleman when they met. But Cole isn't one to have a relationship. He's more of an occasional hookup kind of guy. So when he meets Ren and they I guess hook up, he can't seem to get the guy off his mind. And then Ren ends up needing some sort of renovation. And little does he know, Cole is the guy who's going to be renovating, I believe it's his bathroom. A very fun series. All these books, there's like really no drama, no angst. It's just carefree and fun and funny. I laughed a lot in this series because these guys are just so funny and just so much fun. We move on to the 2nd book, which is Nailed. In this book, we follow Stone and Dare. Stone is such a character. Wow, he's just out there, and I love him. He's hilarious. And then Dare is the complete opposite. He's very to himself. He has like an anger sort of problem. I think he took like anger management classes or something. I think his anger got him in trouble one time, so he tries to rein it in, but Stone is like his new next door neighbor, and Stone is making it very hard because Stone knows the kind of guy that, or seems to know the kind of guy that he is, so he's, you know, doing his best to piss him off. I had a lot of fun with this story. So much fun. The third book is Hardwood. I have in my review, more. Yes, I want more. I love these books. So this is Everett's story. The guys all think Everett is the straight one of the group, of the four bears. But little do they know, he was married before, he has a daughter. It's been years for Everett. He hasn't really been able to be himself, so because he's been focusing on his daughter. But he's had enough, and he doesn't want to deny who he is anymore. So he ends up going out to their bar that they go, and of course it's a gay bar that they go to. So one night he goes out by himself, and this is where he meets Watson. Watson is so much fun. He's sort of like a geeky, nerdy kind of guy. He's just adorable. He wears like these little bow ties. He is a music teacher. Everett's daughter is actually in his music class. So that's how, so when he meets Everett at the bar, you know, they kind of hit it off, and then he goes for like a parent-teacher conference, and he sees that Everett is his daughter's teacher. So that kind of makes it, sorry, I have a hair. So that kind of makes it hard for him. He's already just sort of coming out, and he hasn't told the guys at the construction company yet. This was just a very coming into yourself kind of story, and I loved it. I love a good first time story, and these two characters they're adorable. And lastly, well, so far, lastly, we have Screwed. Screwed is a book where you get to know characters from previous books. You get to know Daniel from the first one. Daniel is Ren's best friend. Daniel is very professional. You know, he wears suits, and he's also very feminine. He's very forward with who he is, but he's sort of scared of relationships. He's just kind of like, you know, a hookup kind of guy as well. But then we have Ollie. Poor Ollie. Ollie, of course, you meet Ollie in the first book. Ollie is Cole's brother. Ollie has not had a successful relationship. He's been married like 3 times, and everything's just failed. He's just a hopeless romantic. He's trying to find the love of his life, and he's just failing at it. And you feel for this guy. It's more like 2 unlikely characters getting together, but then you kind of feel the pull of the 2 characters throughout the series. In fact, I was rooting for them to have a story. I was hoping they would get a story. So when Screwed came out, I was like, yes, we get Ollie and Daniel, finally. But anyway, since Ollie has kind of had these crazy relationships and these such short marriages, his buddies make fun of him, including his brother. Daniel comes to his rescue one night. I believe they're on like a bachelor party, and so Daniel like takes up for him and makes up this story how they've been dating, and so it's a fake relationship story. I think it goes into be like engagement and all this other sorts of things, but of course they get to know each other during this time that they're fake dating or whatever it is that they're doing, and they grow to love each other, but they're both guarding their hearts. Ollie, because he's going through so many bad relationships, he really doesn't want to make a bad decision again. So he's trying his hardest not to fall for Daniel, because he doesn't know if he feels that Daniel's not ready for a relationship from what he knows of Daniel. And then we have Daniel, who is also guarding his heart and not sure he's ready to put himself out there for a relationship. So it was a very, very heartwarming story. Ollie finally gets his true love, or his happy ending, I guess. I loved it. Loved the series. Can't wait for more. Alright, well that's it. That's all I have for my favorite male male romance series of 2020. Loved all these books. Highly recommend them all. I will put the links to them down below so you can go check them out for yourself if you have not yet read them. Hope you are all doing well out there, staying safe. Thank y'all so much for watching and sticking around with me, and I will see y'all soon in my next video. Bye y'all. We're following two different oh my god, why can't I say characters? Caleb has always been Josh. What is wrong with me today? I cannot say a word. Now I don't know what I'm talking about.